And you can do a lot of like classic style bougie cocktails without actual alcohol.
We had a non-alcoholic beer
try it.
sponsor for the show last year.
Oh, I can't do that.
I mean, I know, but I had one of those. I pounded one on air as a joke, and it was like, okay, this isn't like I wouldn't actively seek it out, but I was like, oh, I get the allure if you like the taste.
Sure,
you know what I mean, like. But again, drinking is just not really my thing.
And I don't like the taste of non-alcoholic beer. I think it tastes.
I mean, if you're
tastes like doo-doo.
If you're a beer connoisseur, a beer drinker, I would imagine it's probably not your jam.
However, mocktails, man, I can have some of those and be like, ooh, this is nice.
Not really.
No,
not Mr. Negroni over here. I don't. Are they doing a mock Negroni at all?
Oh, there are people that have done great ones. I've tried some of the canned ones before, and yeah, there's a distinct difference. It might be subtle.
I think it's also, Swag, you and I like cocktails that are spirit forward in flavor.
Yes.
So I want to taste
I'm not
the spirit.
trying to mask the alcohol with,
You're not going Jack and Coke and just trying to really water down the Jack.
No.
I mean, I'll just drink whiskey straight if it's good enough. So, yeah.
No, makes sense.
Yeah, Oakley Dokley. We got a great show for you today. I sat down with Ned Grabavoy, the Portland Timbers GM, yesterday. I'll play that for you in the 11 o'clock hour. Some college football that hour as well, as we're trying to ramp up our college football efforts here on the firm as we're getting closer and closer to the season kicking off. Maybe we'll get to LeBron in the Miami Heat because that's a silly story over there.
Somebody got fired.
But we'll start here as well.
Oh, would you look at the time? It's been 24 hours.
Hey, at least it's not Moda yet. We'll start with layoffs once again with the Portland Trailblazers. It's Danny on Patrick, 105.1 The Fan. It's 10:18 here, Portland Sports Leader. Don't you forget it, baby. We're live, as we always are, from the sweaty, historic Fremont Bridge, 503-864-6326. That's the fan text line. Per usual, she'll let you interact with us throughout the entire day. You can jump over on the YouTubes. 1051 The Fan is your channel. Like, subscribe, jump in the chat. Don't make me say it today. Danny, the gifts that keep on giving, huh? Is this like the is this the ultimate if you're a Blazer like junkie, all right, and you live in the world of dad is the worst human being on planet Earth, is this the equivalent of like no Santa Claus when you're 7 years old, or is this dad went to get cigarettes and milk?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, but also
I had a feeling you were gonna say that.
It's also like there are some Blazer junkies that like I'm still getting it in my replies right now of people saying, "Well, I mean, clearly Danny doesn't know what it takes to run a business." I'm like, I don't know, man. The business was humming along before he came in. So was the Allen estate and Paul Allen, were they making money? Were they making a lot of money?
I would assume so. I would hope so. I don't think many people get into sports and don't make money. Is there a team in the Big Four? No. Hell, I'll stretch this out to MLS. I'll stretch this out to...
That's probably where it stops.
Really?
That's probably where it stops.
Okay.
Like the minor league hockey, NWSL and WNBA. No, not even WNBA.
Can't say WNBA.
So
they've been held afloat for a while.
Honestly, NWSL might be like the Thorns. They're fine.
Sure, but
like,
the league on a whole, everyone in the league.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Like the Thorns are the literal most attended women's sports team in the world.
Wonderful.
They're fine.
I love that.
They have a higher attendance rate than any women's sports franchise in the world.
Get it, Thorns. Well, it's also the greatest stadium in the history of stadiums.
So, like, they're fine. But league-wise, I can't speak on it because I don't know what the socioeconomic impacts are. But on the WNBA side, we know that's not true because they're not operating in the red yet.
Well, in MLS, even the small markets, Portland included, like Portland and Columbus are two of the strongest MLS brands.
And they're small.
And they're in smaller markets.
I bet you Vancouver, even with their current issues, are probably still making money.
Oh, they do fantastic. Yeah. And they're really good this year, too, so that helps.
So
again, that stadium just hosted World Cup games. Why can't it host MLS games?
And I mean, I don't know how you want to sort out Miami's finances because Messi's bringing in $250 million. So I think they're doing just
Apple
fine.
money is nice.
They're doing just fine.
This article came across from Forbes magazine. This was written by Maury Brown, who's a senior contributor. I'll just read this little blurb. After 19 seasons with the Blazers broadcast team, TV analyst Michael Holton has been let go, as well as statistician, I can never say that word, Tom Haberstroh, former ESPN legend and Blazers TV host Neil Everett, and TV host Jamie Hudson. Several other broadcasters' contracts have lapsed, with deep pay cuts being expected in some places. The status of TV play-by-play man Kevin Calabro and radio play-by-play man Travis Demers is unknown, but both have contracts up for renewal. The two names that you don't see in this are Lamar Hurd and Brooke Olzendam. Mm-hmm. And I think those are probably, we'll get to these guys in a minute, but real quick to start there. I don't know where I am with this, but those are the two you tread lightly with, amigo, because that'll alleviate a lot of fan base. Where I'll start with this, obviously these are all great people. Mm-hmm. I don't know any of them personally, but I've seen them on TV, and we get to know and love our TV personalities. Do we not see this coming, though, a little bit what he did in Carolina?
But that's... Why do you think I've been ringing the bells since the day it happened, man? Like, at what point in time, this whole, like, he's going to make the product better. What about this makes the product better?
You know, I'm not quite sure.
Is he going to take this money and put it in somewhere else? If you say yes, I don't believe you.
Yeah. I don't know if I believe that either. I don't know. It's tough for me, Danny, because if I'm being honest, I don't consume a lot of that. You know, when I watch a Blazer game, if they tell me it's a 7:30 kick and I turn it on at 7:30, it's always a kick, man. Football and soccer is always a kick. If it's a 7:30 kick and I turn it on and it actually moves to 7:42, okay, because of TV commercials and whatnot, I will go do something and come back when I find out tip is. So I'm a little tough to ask because I don't consume the program. Again, I know these people are probably wonderful people. Grew up with Neil Everett on my television all the time, so I think very highly of him. And from what you've told me, Michael and Tom and Jamie are awesome people as well. I don't consume it, so I don't know. So that's my question is like, how much does it affect? Because how many people out there are like me? Am I in the minority, or am I an average walk of life?
And there's other things that I've heard that I can't talk about yet because I haven't confirmed from enough sources to do this because it impacts people. There's more coming. So, and that's on radio side, that's on TV side. I've heard things behind the scenes that, to be frank, I think are gross. I think that, I'll go back to this thing, and this isn't anti-Dundon, but it is anti-Dundon in this sense. The number one requirement I wanted for a new owner was he had more money than God. Because with that stuff, do you hear about what's going on in NBA arenas around the league where owners have a ton of money? Do you hear about them slashing the product, cutting traveling, kicking people out of hotels early?
No, but I hear
not
about
traveling
them,
2 ways.
But I hear about them laundering money through other companies to get star players there.
I'd rather have that.
I mean, it's still a bad look.
Your bad look is spending more money.
Illegally.
And?
Well, maybe my moral high ground is a little higher than one of yours, Marang.
Look, but that's my point is like, I'd rather have a team that's trying literally every single avenue of spending money to try to make the product better. Now, would I want to be mired in the Clippers fiasco? No. But would I have taken that as the possible outcome? But you told me that you were going to invest so freaking heavily into a team to try to win a title that maybe something might happen here. I mean, we'll talk about Gary Trent Jr. here in a little bit. Like, if you're willing to...
There's always ways around it.
Like, well, how can we do this? How can we do that? Like, again, I'm not going to sit here and pretend, again, the moral high ground of like, I've said it so many times, if I could go back and, Men in Black erase my brain when it comes to like all of how the sausage is made stuff in the NBA and professional sports, I would, because the ignorance is bliss part of it, but also the reality is if I did that, I wouldn't be able to operate and understand and talk about it in a way where you are aware of those things.
Yeah, the catch-22 of understanding how things go. I get very lucky going up to Providence Park that everybody I run into is great. I get lucky. I'm sure there are things behind the scenes that not everybody loves, but I get very lucky that I'm starting to see how the sausage is made, and it looks pretty damn good sausage up there.
But even then, you went through the managerial turmoil. You're sitting there going, well, what's hanging this up? Like, why? But again, I'd rather deal with those. And again, Merritt Paulson is not the richest owner in MLS.
No, but he cares a lot.
He does.
He is a Portland guy. He cares a lot.
But we were talking about this when we were at goal. Who's the most expensive DP they have in the history of the team?
In the history of the Portland Timbers, I mean, it's probably Christopher Velda right now, just because of inflation and money going up. I would assume it's Velda.
Is that a Mueller? Is that a Kim? Is that a Messi? Is that a Beckham? Like, just like go down.
No.
No. Like Fernando Adi, who I loved, was their DP for a while.
When Adi scores, we take pictures.
You know what I mean? Like that. But it's a different scale. But this whole idea of like Tom Dunn's going to spend, and it's always going to be about the product. It's only the product on the court. But here's the thing: he's mandated to do that. Anything he's not mandated to do, he clearly doesn't want to do.
If it's not nailed to the floor, he's like, get it out of here.
Yes, and it's like, for everybody who's like, he's saving money, he's running a business. What do you care? How does that impact you as a fan?
Yeah.
What is him like? I keep getting it. It's like, you don't know what it means to run a business. I actually do.
Have you ever seen the pictures of like a guy's got like a chair and an Xbox controller and the TV's on the floor and a small table, and that's his whole living room? What's wrong with that? Well, I think that might be Tom Dundon's living room.
Well, no.
He's like,
that's not his living room. That's the employee's living room. His living room has the Stanley Cup on it with his kids' freaking names on it.
503-864-6326. I want to read this text. We'll take a break and react to it, and I want to hear your thoughts as well because I might live in this world. This texter says, fans will scream and then it won't matter. None of this matters. Sean's was let go. Mike and Mike were let go. Everyone still watched. That's what I want to get into next is the actual long-term effects of this. That's swag over there with sports.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, newly hired head coach Marty Cifuentes not going to make his debut for the Timbers until later this month. They're still navigating the work visa approval process, but his team will be on the field at Providence Park tonight. First time in over a month. They host FC Dallas, 7:30 kick right here on the Fan. Pre-game coverage at 6:30 immediately following primetime, which you can go say hi to live and in person today. They will be at the Kingston Bar and Grill starting at 3. Portland Fire Guard Bridget Carlton set to compete in the All-Star three-point contest this weekend in Chicago. But first, tonight, she'll be on the Moda Center floor leading the Fire against the Dallas Wings. 7 o'clock tip coverage on 910 ESPN. Portland begins at 6:45. Dallas, 5.5-point favorites. All eyes in the major leagues today on the Red Sox to see if they can continue what would be a franchise record tying, possibly new winning streak. They got a doubleheader. First pitch just in moments against the Orioles. Meanwhile, Yankees and Pirates underway from the Bronx. No score in the bottom of the second. I'm Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of the Fan.
503-864-6326 is the fan text line. I asked the question, or I read the text. Fans will scream and then it won't matter. None of this matters. Sean's was let go. Mike and Mike were let go. Everyone's still watching. I think, Danny, even you and I who root for our brethren in this media, whether we know them or not, or you personally who know these people fairly well, have worked with them a lot or adjacent to them, we are always going to stick up for each other. You know, there is definitely a brethren at this station that are big Travis Demers fans, used to be a part of the family here, and we all think he does a great job. But I am curious the actual ripple effect of this, other than just the aesthetic now. Like the long term of losing kind of these stalwarts. This texter, which I think is a little harsh, but I think has a place in this conversation. The broadcasts before and after the game were not really valuable in my opinion and feel so small townish. Don't watch, never will. Just tell me when the game's on, I'm watching. So no, I don't think you're in the minority at all here.
I mean,
I wouldn't go as far as like critiquing the quality of it.
I do one of those, and I know the ratings. You are in the minority. So
I didn't mean to take a shot at you.
No.
It wasn't my intent.
I'm just saying, like, I see the ratings. A lot of you watch.
Yeah, but that's my question. Will in today's age where there's content everywhere, is it just people will still go find that post game, pre game content, whatever it might look like, even if it's not Michael or Jamie or Tom, or you for that matter.
That's the thing, is it's hard to get, tertiary data.
Sure.
But again, I've seen this. Not be arrogant. I've seen my ratings.
Hey man, your show is on every bar in this town because we have forgotten to change the channel.
And guess what? Keep it going because the commercials still pay.
Oh God. Except for me, it is banned in my household.
There you go.
Except for Joe. We like Joe.
Yes, that's fine. Hate watch me, love watch Joe. You're still watching. It's fine.
Welcome to the firm of Harrison.
Yeah. hate listen to me, love listen to Harris. That's fine. I don't care as long as you're listening. I'm joking, but
as am I.
No, again, the whole idea of like it's running a business, and I'm like, what do you care? That whole look. The Mike and Mike part of this, that pissed a lot of people off.
It really did.
For a long time. To be frank, Barrett is a good friend of mine.
Yes, I'm aware of that. And Barrett, by all accounts, is a good human who the Portland community really rallies around, I would say. When he speaks, people listen.
Look, Chris McGowan had to fall on that sword. It ripped him apart. It was Paul Allen's decision. He wanted to bring in his Seattle guy in Calabro. And again, KC is a world-class broadcaster. He's going to probably go in the Radio Hall of Fame. Like, he's very good, long tenured. If they had cut Mike and Mike and brought in a cheap substitute,
me,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would have gone really poorly.
It puts a Band-Aid over it real quick when it's Calabro.
Look, and again, I have no beef with KC at all. I think he's world class.
Love them pipes.
But Mike and Mike was like synonymous. They were a top three. It is something. Here's a larger thought. There's an economist on Twitter that's just annoying as could be, going back at me on there back and forth about stuff about the economic impact. It's not just about economic impact. It's civic impact.
And that's
what I was to say on the broadcast side of things. There are 3 teams in the NBA who their broadcast sucks, just flat out. And I've gone at one of them. I shouldn't have, but I have.
I think we went through that list not too long ago because the Blazers finished pretty high on that.
Yes. The thing about it is, like, if those broadcasters are on, I don't want to participate. I don't want to partake. There's some pride in like having like Vince Scully being your broadcaster matters. Having Ian Eagle as your broadcaster matters.
I got Tom Hamilton in Cleveland on the corner of Ontario and Carnegie. If you need a pair of white walls, head on down to Tom's.
I had the Buck family, the Cardinals, forever.
Yeah.
Like, it matters. There's cachet to that.
And that's where I will push back a little bit on this texter's thought of it feels so small townish. I think that's the point, kind of.
Yes.
I think that's the point.
I
like
remember?
listening when Swag calls Pilots games. I like listening to them because I know he is a Portland guy and he's been in the area forever, and that feels good about that. But that's where it kind of meets the road, I think, and that's why it can be expenditure for someone who's not Portland. Look, we've learned real easily. This guy ain't a Portland guy and might never be.
He was not a Raleigh guy either. He canned their broadcasters.
He's come around a little bit from what I've heard and read about being more of a Raleigh guy. But he's not there with Portland yet. So the small town stuff, dude, F your feelings.
Oh,
is kind of just where he is. Do I agree with it? Maybe, maybe not. But I'm not surprised.
Swag, do you remember the Mike and Mike heydays after games? The lines that would be in the aisles to go down and take a picture and shake a hand with Mike and Mike?
Oh, I know.
Like, it was a cultural cachet.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that, too, is I love Barrett, but I think it was probably time for Rice.
I mean,
to go at the time.
The wild one was the wild one.
Mike was getting a little.
Have you ever been to a volcano?
Getting a little of that.
But that was the whole point. Is like it was like Passion Walton. You had the straight man. Like I've said for years, if you wanted to learn how to be a straight man play-by-play, go listen to Mike Barrett. Go listen to Barrett. I don't think there's anybody that, particularly in basketball, who was better as the straight man play-by-play guy. He got it here. Being an Oregon guy.
Oh, yeah. He got that. I hope they don't do a simulcast because radio and TV are totally different beasts.
Different in basketball.
I hope not.
It doesn't sound like it's going that way, and that's one of the things I was kind of alluding to, is that there does seem to be a fix in place or
because I do
understand
on the television side, especially because you have League Pass and your clips are being picked up. I mean, I was going to school at UPS in the 90s, and Calabro was up there, and he was Seattle. He was Seattle. So, and then he went, after the Sonics left, he was, for a time, the national radio voice of ESPN. He did NBA Finals on this station for ESPN Radio. So you're not going to find somebody that is at a higher quality outside of Mike Breen or something like that than you got with Calabro. So in terms of cachet there, I understood. I felt like after COVID, Calabro's got 1 foot out the door. How much did he want to be here? And family situations and all that sort of stuff, but this was the closest thing he had to do what he loves doing and he's excellent at. So it's going to be interesting to see how they put this back together.
And the Calabro one is an easy for me if they don't bring him back. He is expensive, and rightfully so. That from the jump, I was like,
well, I think also if the Sonics,
he's going back to Seattle.
If the Sonics are going to come back and it's going to happen sooner than later, they will at least have him come back for maybe the inaugural season or two, and then figure out who they want to bring in with them or to take over long term.
He was going to go anyway, so Casey is not a worry for me. But to read some of these texts that are coming in, 503-864-6326, you can get over the broadcasters being gone. Will it suck? Yes, change always sucks. What you won't be able to get over is all the behind-the-scenes cuts that are going to make this a second-rate broadcast when the Blazers have been the league standard for local broadcast for literally decades. That's where these budget cuts are going to be felt the most. I think that's a fair point.
What's the level of production that you're going to see on the broadcast?
Right. Is this college-level broadcasting, or is this do we still have professionals? Hey, look, the last producer for the Blazers just took a job in NBA broadcast.
Yes, and he was ESPN's lead producer for NBA Today. So, like, again, this is what all the stuff I always heard about. Jody Allen and the Allen estate is cheap. They're cheap. They're cheap. They're cheap. They weren't. They never were. They never have been. This is actually what cheap looks like. You didn't see these cuts. You didn't see these. You saw them go get Kevin Calabro. You saw them have a big production team. You saw them bring in Neil Everett. You saw them do all of these things.
The Neil Everett was really cool. I remember I was like, sweet, Neil Everett wants to be here.
But I'm not surprised because, Neil only did, 15, 20 games.
Right,
and
on
Jamie,
the road, yeah.
So those, while you don't want to see, and I remember when Jamie first got hired with old Comcast Sports Northwest and her developing, and she's made quite a career for herself here in Portland. So I did high school football games with Travis, for crying out loud. So I've seen a lot of these people come up and go through, develop right in front of us. But the ones that weren't like the full-time every day, I understand from a business standpoint. Sure. It's like you're only doing 15 games. Why, those sorts of things. So it'll be interesting to see if they pare it down, who they end up deciding is there all the time, every game, and then how much are they going to make them work? That's the piece of the puzzle then. Okay, if they're doing every game, that sort of thing, but then how much extra are they going to try to extract out of those people? Because that can be a lot.
Yeah. And I would say there's a comment on YouTube. It's all feelings and emotions. Let's go win a championship. Cool. And if I hear one more person say Stanley Cup, I'm going to pistol whip the next person that says Stanley Cup. I don't.
Hey, Swag, what happens if you win an NHL championship? What do you get if you win an NHL championship? Oh, sorry, I had to. Another thought, though. It's not unusual for a new owner to clean house over on the YouTubes. That's it. And this one, I think more people. I think what Tom Dundon has pushed a lot of people's thoughts, and maybe myself included, is this last text that I'll read, and we'll go to break. As a fan, I don't care about TV or radio, folks. I want an owner that wants to win and will spend money to win. TV and radio people cannot help the team win more games. That is factual. However, the flip side is back to that small townish argument. You feel more connected.
Well, it does.
You feel more a part of it.
Connecting with your fan base that is going to spend the money ultimately coming to the gates and watching TV, and if
the kids in the background at halftime.
Well,
waving.
The big piece is if he's trying to elevate the the sponsorship values for the naming rights and whatever else might be coming through it. If you don't have that's it right there. Your radio and TV is a big part of those sponsorship things, and if it gets cut drastically or is not as observed as it is, then the valuation you want to try to increase in your rights fees, where does it go? You have to have a connection.
Yeah.
Blazer coverage on the Fan is presented by Xfinity. Score the most reliable Wi-Fi. One prize, 5 years, guaranteed. Xfinity, imagine that. We'll swing back around on this in the Big Nooner because I think there's a lot more to discuss. And keep sending your thoughts in on the text line or over on the YouTubes. I'll try to keep them in my notes. We'll come back to that in the Big Nooner. Let's stick in the association. Speaking of shady deals in L.A., is Milwaukee got a shady deal going on? Let's get to that. 105.1 The Fan and the Fan Sports Network. Coming up in hour number deuce, we'll get to some college football. There's already some more to get to tomorrow. John Summerall is the gift that keeps on giving today at
Love
SEC
that.
Media Days. Yeah, we'll get into John Summerall tomorrow. Pretty spicy at the podium.
He's testing our theory. We had the theory watching Venables up there, like to measure the confidence of a fan base going in based on the quality of the tan of your head coach at Media Day.
Well, then Will Stein and Kentucky are winning a natty.
No, Venable, that thing was like perfect.
So we'll have to get into some of that probably tomorrow.
Put your money on the Sooners.
We didn't get to finish our conversation yesterday about the SEC seceding from the union. So we'll get to that in the 11 o'clock hour. We'll talk the new ACC tiebreaker. Been kind of kicking that can down the road. And then we'll bring you the interview that I had with Ned Grabavoy yesterday, GM of the Portland Timbers. Fascinating stuff there in terms of the new manager and what to expect over the next series of games. So tune in to that. But we'll finally get to this. I feel like we meant to do this days ago, Danny. We've been caught up in a lot of
Last week.
Why have we been so busy? Why are we kicking things down the road all the time?
I don't know. Maybe there's something else going on here.
All right. If you missed Wright Gazaway yesterday, he was fantastic. Go back and check that out wherever you get your podcast, the Odyssey app. But the NBA is starting to investigate this Gary Trent Jr., speaking of former Blazers, in the Milwaukee Bucks situation. Yeah, no. To bring you up to date, he signed a league minimum in 2024 for the Bucks. He averaged 11.1 points on 43% shooting and had a good playoff run. He then signed a 2-year, $7.5 million contract with the Bucks, which paid him $3.7 during 25-26 and helped establish his early bird rights. That's the kicker there, allowing him to re-sign with the team even if it's over the salary cap. Well, he just signed a 4-year, $64 million deal, which is a $15 million pay bump, basically from the year before. Smells fishy, Danny.
Gary bet on himself a couple years ago, and the market did not go well for him.
And we've talked about this at length. The role player, the above average guys, there ain't the money for you these days.
No, but he also took a deal that people were kind of like, that's kind of interesting. That seems like it's below market. Well, last year he dropped, and then as far as his overall statistical profile, there you go, statistical profile, and out of that, he got this deal, which made people go, Not only that, people behind the league knew he was re-signing in Milwaukee, and nobody else had any.
There was no chance.
Could there have been a handshake agreement? Maybe. But it's like, I know it's circumventing the CBA, but it's like,
yeah, and that's
here's the Minnesota one with Joe Smith. The problem with that one was it was written down on a piece of paper in a drawer in the office.
And that's why they got killed for it.
It wasn't a smoking gun. It was the gun.
Because at this point, with all the chatter around second apron and the value of mid-level guys' contracts, if this goes before an arbitrator, a judge, or the league's office, whatever you want to say, the Bucks can say, look, this is what we could afford, and he signed the contract. You can go that route. And Gary Trent said, hey, I bet on myself. I had to take a league minimum. I like it in Milwaukee. I enjoy the fan base. I like the ownership. I want to stay here. And I bet on myself, and it proved it. And I got a contract that I deserve.
Well, there's also a player here in Portland history who suffered an injury that somehow still got a contract significantly over that value.
Mount Hood.
Weird. Almost like there may have been an agreed-upon situation that was going to happen regardless.
Well, I definitely think, this is not the first time. I'm sure there's a ton of stuff. The aspiration
happens.
stuff is basically this on steroids.
Yes. It happens.
It happens. I wonder, though.
Problem is, they may have gotten caught.
And how would they have gotten caught?
The Bucks.
Yeah, but how would they have gotten caught? Is there something written in a drawer?
Knowledge around the league. Like, why would he get more? And then why wasn't he looking elsewhere?
Yeah. But would the rest of the league go after Milwaukee in that situation?
You know who loves to prey on a team's downfall? Every other team.
Yeah.
Every other team.
Like every NBA owner loves Tom Dundon right now.
Yes, every owner loves Tom Dundon. You know
loves
why? Because they can use him as the
ain't
model.
that.
No. They can use him as the model of if it goes bad, see, we're not that. And if it goes good, they'll use it as a cost-cutting measure. Well, look, this is the model you follow. It's a copy. He's taking all of the heat for the other 29 owners right now. They love that. And when you can screw over a team and maybe make them forfeit a draft pick or have a salary cap hit, all the things that come with that, the other teams love that because that's one more team you don't have to worry about.
You think Milwaukee will suffer anything from this? I think they'll get away with it. It sounds too easy to be like, he signed the deal. He was okay with it.
I'm getting mixed reviews on it. Let's just put it that way.
Can you prove that Gary Trent Jr. or can you prove that it is against the CBA if Gary Trent Jr. wants to play in Milwaukee and doesn't care about the value?
Well, if he took
That's
a
what I
market
mean.
deal and agreed upon future deal,
Well, that's a
the
problem.
line.
But if you can't prove that, how can you tell somebody that loves their city and wants to stay there? Like Dame coming back. Okay, Dame comes back at $15 million. You're like, hey, that's a sweetheart deal, isn't it? You can't say that somebody who wants to be somewhere specifically is breaking the rules. Look at LeBron right now. He gets to go wherever he wants, and he's holding the league hostage for it. We're not going to go after him for it.
But it's not pre-agreed upon.
That's fair.
That's the kicker.
That's fair. Let's get into hour number deuce here, some college football stuff, a continuation of our conversation yesterday. Could the SEC survive on its own? Hour number deuce next, 105.1 The Fan.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
Brought to you by Mountaintop Metal Roofing. No maintenance, energy efficient, fire resistant, and a lifetime warranty. Do it once, do it right. Visit mountaintopmetalroofing.com. First on the Fan. Timbers fans anxious to see their new head coach Marty Cifuentes on the sideline. It will not happen tonight. They're still working out his work visa approval. So it'll be Jack Cassidy who was excellent as the interim coach last week, pasting the Sounders 5-1 in Seattle. Hoping for similar success, hosting FC Dallas tonight, 7:30 at Providence Park. Pre-game coverage here on The Fan will start at 6:30 following primetime, who you can say hi to today over the Kingston Bar and Grill. They're live on location starting at 3 o'clock. Portland Fire in action as well, hosting the Dallas Wings, 7 o'clock at Moda Center. Coverage on 910 ESPN Portland begins at 6:45. The Fire 5.5-point underdogs. To the major leagues, Garrett Cole yet to allow a base runner through 4 innings. Yankees can't score. We're scoreless in the bottom of the 4th. Red Sox looking to tie the franchise winning streak at 15. They put up 4 in the bottom of the 1st, leading 4-zip over the O's. Top of the 2nd, first of a day-night doubleheader. I'm Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Your home for the Oregon.
Hour number deuce here. If you're missing the first hour, you can download that, The Fan Podcast, 1051thefan.com, the Odyssey app, wherever you get your podcasts. It's there for the taking. If you missed Lance Taylor, who was on Dirt and Sprague this morning, an excellent, excellent college football guy from the South. They had a wonderful conversation. Go check that out either on the YouTubes or the Odyssey app. Rewind, fast forward. Except for in the future, for that would be impossible. We'll have the interview. I sat down with Ned Grabavoy, the GM of the Timbers, yesterday afternoon. We'll play that for you this hour, and then Web Gems as well. But a carryover from a conversation we were having yesterday, Danny, that I wanted to get into more, but, you know, Wright put us in our rightful place. No pun intended.
Oh, that's a new segment with Wright.
Yeah. Put you in your right place?
No, just
or
right,
just the right place?
The right place.
So that kind of derailed us. But we were talking about Sankey's quotes yesterday about, look, I'm not using this as leverage, but, if the NCAA is not going to control things, if the NCAA is not going to structure themselves correctly, then we might as well just go do our own thing. Now, that conversation we can have for a long time, but I want to ask you the question, Danny. If the SEC were actually to secede from the union, like the South has, to your credit yesterday.
It's states' rights, man. That's what we're dealing with.
Would you watch the SEC if it was not a part of everybody else?
If they're just playing just this themselves, and
it's 16 teams, and then they create some 16 playoff, 18 playoff for a champion, would you watch it?
I would watch, but less aggressively, and I would care less about what they do at the end.
I think so too. I don't think it works. I think the only way it works is to get more people involved. Mm-hmm. You'd have to go get Notre Dame and Clemson and Florida State and,
weird.
And Oregon.
Let me lean in a little bit more.
And Ohio State.
I mean, like a 40-team Super League.
And Michigan. And that's the only way that works.
And it only works for football.
Only works for football. Again, no.
I have no problem with that. Mm-hmm. Like, we know where this stuff is going. We know what are the 2 biggest sports in this country?
NFL and college football.
Ding, 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 ding.
MLS right behind. So
the whole idea of how this is set up and well, how are we going to do this? It's so big and, how do we get around? I'm like, the NFL isn't that far away, guys.
No.
It's 32 teams. So you're telling me well, how do you pay this and how do you structure it? Well, you build it. Mm-hmm. That's what you do.
And you can't just build it based on the SEC. Look, there's no doubt about it. The SEC has lost a lot of its clout over the years. Look, I think college football, despite having a ton of issues right now and maybe larger, more glaring issues than we've ever had in the sport,
the
itself, the on-field product is excellent right now. And yeah, is that a lot of it some complaining and moaning from the SEC because they're not dominating anymore? But look, if they grab one, that's going to change the narrative completely.
Oh, they're going to be...
They're not out of it. I don't think the Big Ten has lapped them.
Texas wins a national title this year. sweet mother of Moses, all you were going to hear is SEC just means more. We're the top, but we run this thing.
And then you know what else is going to be heard in the quiet background, which might fuel this fire a little bit more? That ain't a real SEC team. You just grabbed them because you needed them to help prop up your conference. Because look, what did the SEC not need? They didn't need Texas and Oklahoma. No. They did not.
You know who did?
It is a rich
the Pac-12.
The Pac-12 did. Yeah, thanks, Larry. Thanks, Larry. But they didn't need Texas and Oklahoma. It became an embarrassment of riches. And I think they grabbed them because they want to start to build this conference of champions to steal from the old Pac-10, Pac-12. They wanted to believe it. But as college football started to evolve, and as we think on the field for the better, they stopped being the big swinging D in town. And again, I don't think the Big Ten has lapped the SEC.
I think the top of the Big Ten is better, but
I don't think it's a coincidence that they've won 3 in a row. I think their top tier teams have been the better in comparison of the two conferences. But I'm not going to sit here and count out the SEC.
No
way, man.
If the SEC won a national title this next season, it would not come as a shock,
and it would probably shut them up a little bit,
which we all want,
because I think that's a lot of it too, and that might be a big reason why you and I are like, I mean, sure, I'll watch it, I'll care less. I might have one eye half closed when I watch it.
I'll watch the rest of the country.
Yes, I'm still going to watch everybody else's game, but when you get in, you win a championship in that. I mean, like, I don't really care about that. And I think it permeates the thought that you're mad because you used to be the king of the castle. And there is no king of the castle anymore. It's kind of a free-for-all. Now,
the playoff predictors over your shoulder: Ohio State, Texas, Notre Dame, Oregon, Georgia, Indiana, Miami, Alabama, Tech, and LSU. Those are your top 10 playoff predictor national title highest percent chances in order.
That's 4 conferences plus Notre Dame.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, and I think that's the whole thing. It's Texas or SEC, Sankey. I think it's okay to look around and say, okay, things are more even now. So what are you going to do about that?
Because
if you just want to cry and take your trucks home, you just look like you just like losers.
So there's 3 options.
What is Dan saying?
Time to nut up or shut up.
And that's it.
Do that.
Door number 1 is, or door number 3, however you want to phrase this, is status quo and things stay as they are with some minor tweaks, which I think everybody would agree we don't want.
Yes. In what sense?
In the sense of like, just everything is wide open.
Like the lack of structure.
Yeah, there's nothing.
I thought you were talking about on the field.
No. This is purely off the field.
Okay.
Purely off the field. The status quo right now, and it's like every season it's going to be something ridiculous.
Some Trinidad Chambliss, some Darren Mensa,
whatever.
Some big dude leaves to another school.
Eligibility.
Right.
And I'm fine with the transfer portal. I'm totally fine with it.
Lane leaving Ole Miss at the doorstep, holding them hostage to take an LSU job.
Oregon suing one of their players.
Right, right.
Just
a non-story, but could be a bigger story.
But you know what I mean? Just stuff everywhere. Option number 2 is the SEC says, screw you guys, I'm going home. Which we all would just point and laugh. People would still watch. It would still garner ratings.
It would become more regional than it already is.
And that's where I was going to go with that. Or door number 3, which I have been banging this drum for 3 years now, is just get to the super conference, build the frameworks up, do 2 40-team super conferences, League 1, League 2, have promotion, have relegation, have it be top 4, bottom 4, so 10% is moving every 2 years, so there's a little bit of runway and you're not scared to death, and the investment, if it backfires, doesn't cripple you. You know what I mean? Like, just in the stories, the maturity of that, I don't know how that goes wrong. And maybe that's me being naive. But I look at that and I go, you would have structure, you would have stability, you would have money, you would have an understanding, you would have 80 teams operating under the same auspices of real rules. The other, it's 137 teams right now in FBS, 80 of 137, so more than half. The other half, here's your opportunity. Do you want to get in? No? Then cool. You're not going to participate at that level.
My school plays Duquesne this year. I don't know if Duquesne makes the 80-team cut, but I think Washington State does.
Sure.
Now, I am not a huge proponent for the Super League. If there's what you're talking about and relegation, I can get behind that. Because I do still think that there is a way to make this work, fix the things that need to be fixed, and keep the 4 conferences as is. I do. Now, I think that's a tall task, especially when you're looking at Clemson, Florida State, Miami, already a half a foot out the door of the ACC.
But not only that, you're also probably asking the same people that broke it to fix it.
I know. But at the same time, the counter to the ACC, dude, the Big 12, when the Big 12 lost Texas and Oklahoma, that's a crushing blow. Mm-hmm. And we all sat here and were like, oh, is that the next Pac-12? Or no, it was before the Pac-12 folded. It was like, oh, God, that poor conference
but then they gobbled up the rest of the Pac-12.
That poor conference is going to fold. God, I feel so bad for them. And then they gobbled up, some of the Pac-12, the Arizona schools, Colorado, Utah. And you're kind of like, okay, they brought in some reinforcements, but, man, that Texas and Oklahoma hole is so giant right now.
There's no Longhorn network that's coming in.
Now let's fast forward to today. What's the status of Tech's program right now? Is it a pretty good program right now?
I mean, even outside of the Sorsby stuff, they're good.
How is the Arizona State program going right now with Kenny Dillingham?
In a better spot than it was. How about BYU?
I was just about to ask Kalani Sitake. How is the BYU program right now?
How's Utah?
Look, the Big 12, when Texas and Oklahoma left, I was very, very worried about that conference. And I was pissed off that we should have had Texas and Oklahoma, and we would be the dominant conference now. But I fell back because I thought it was going to fold. And right now, I think the Big 12 is doing just fine.
I think they're better off than the ACC.
Oh, without a doubt. And the ACC, in theory, has 3 bigger brands than anything in the Big 12.
Yes.
Would you say Clemson, Miami, Florida State are 3 bigger brands than anybody in the Big 12?
Yeah.
I would too.
If you want to say BYU because of the religious component
sure.
of it, maybe. But
the Mormon Notre Dame.
Yeah. That's exactly what they are. If you want to say that, but other than that, no, I think the Big 12 is ahead of them.
What conference would you rather watch play football? Even if it's like mid-tier.
Big 12.
Baylor, Kansas State, or
in my veins.
Or North Carolina, Syracuse. Yeah, right? See, it's an easy choice. So that to put a bow on this conversation, if you're the SEC, be careful, man. This has the unintended consequences that you will have never seen coming because you're too busy smelling your own stank. Mm-hmm. Be careful. Well, let's slide over to the ACC. Speaking of needing to figure out some rules, you think these guys figured out? 105.1 The Fan Sports Network. Coming up here in a moment, I sat down with Ned Grabavoy yesterday. We'll bring that interview for you here in about 10, 15 minutes or so. But sticking in college football for a little bit, in the ACC, remember the S show, the ACS show? That was the ACC title game last year? That the runner-up and potential national championship did not get to play in their conference championship game because an 8-win Duke team made it in. You remember that, Danny? Remember how ridiculous that situation was?
Well, where's the fun in that?
What, remembering or not having an S show?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes to the above. Well, the ACC has figured out a new way to fix this.
Elaborate.
Oh boy, this is a lot of word jumble. Defining tied teams. Step 1, identify the team or teams with the best conference win percentage. Plus, step 2, any team or teams with played an alternative number of conference games and have either the same number of conference wins or the same number of conference losses as the teams identified in step 1. Part C, no other teams may be defined as tied teams. Okay. Number 2, once the tied teams have been identified, in the event of a tie involving teams which played an alternate number of conference games, all ties will be broken down starting with the highest win percentage, working downward. In a 2-team tie, the team tied which defeated the other tied team head-to-head conference competition. Part 2, the tied team with the better ranking in the team success ranking provided by Sports Source Analytics following the conclusion of all regular... Dude, I'm tired. I'm exhausted reading this.
There's a lot of ties, including tongue ties.
What are we doing in this situation? The ACC, look, there might have been stuff going on behind the scenes, to use Pac-12 as an example. We all know how we feel about Larry Scott. And Klyavkov was an absolute disaster. Oversaw the whole thing crumble. Maybe not his fault, but definitely oversaw the whole thing crumble. At least on the surface, it didn't feel like the Pac-12 was sabotaging itself.
No.
It was really just kind of out of nowhere. USC and UCLA, at least it felt that way. SC and UCLA were just like, hey, we're going to the Big Ten. And everybody's like, what? What? This kind of S is how you crumble a conference.
It's convoluted and stupid for no other reason of like, well, maybe, hey, we will make sure that Clemson, Miami, North Carolina, any other Duke.
Because we're going to use this sports analytic company that's going to find a way to tell me that even though Miami lost 2 conference games and Duke has only lost 1, that Miami's still the better team.
Yes.
You're trying...
They're placating without placating, but placating to placate, but not placate.
They're trying to find a way to control the situation for the best TV money. Did you watch the ACC championship last year? Mm-hmm. I watched it as well. It was not a pretty game.
It's like peeling your skin off your face.
It was not a pretty game. This is them trying to find a way to prove that they are able to choose whoever they want in the situation. Is what it feels like.
It's a different branch of the same tree of when USC went to the Pac-12 and said, give us more, we're worth more. And the Pac-12 said, no. And they said, okay, bet. See ya. They're trying to...
I hate you so much.
But, I mean, that was the reality.
God, I hate this show.
When you boil it down, that's what it was. I mean, the reason the Pac-12 told Texas no was because Texas, like, we're keeping the Longhorn Network. Mm-hmm. They said, that's ours. Like, no, you come be what... You gotta... Let's tie this back to Moda Center.
Oh, man, I thought we were taking a break.
I don't want to give Tom Dundon $600 million. Like, from a philosophical standpoint, the ethos of it.
Look at you being a woke Portlander.
But it's not black and white.
No.
Your options are give money or he does something nuclear. And people want to pretend that like there's other areas and like, well, what about this and what about this? And I go, you don't have leverage. The ACC doesn't have leverage. The Pac-12 didn't have leverage.
Yeah, and I think the scarier part, if you're an ACC fan, alum, or a fan out there, is the Pac-12.
It's the boogeyman in the closet.
I think the Pac-12 truly believed they had leverage, and I think a lot of us did too. It took somebody going nuclear to prove it, to where the ACC is already holding on to Clemson, Florida State, Miami by a string, and if they go, they'll take Duke and North Carolina with them because that's the UCLA with USC aspect of well, we're going to give you a basketball school in UCLA because we're going to give you the football school in USC, and that's how Duke and North Carolina will continue on with them. But they're already holding that conference by a string, and if you start dictating who gets to and who gets to not, What happens if Florida State has a decent year this year? Mm-hmm. And what if they get missed out on this? Then they're like, dude, we finally came back from this disaster Mike Norvell situation we've had over the last few years, and our reward is to be punished?
Here's the
Hey, Big Ten, you want to get to, or hey, SEC, you want to get to 18 like the Big Ten? Happy to come. We play Florida every year anyway.
Do you think Minnesota, Purdue, the lesser Big Ten schools are out there screaming about USC, Oregon, Washington, UCLA coming to the conference? Nope, just happy to be here. Do you think the lesser ACC schools are sitting there going, screw Miami, screw Clemson, screw Florida State? No, they're going, we're just happy to be here.
If you're Boston College, you're stoked.
You're like, you want to do that? You know why? Because they're going to point to the Pac-12 and go, do you want to be Oregon State?
Right.
Do you want to be Washington State?
And take a school like Syracuse. Oh, we're a basketball school. Well, someone will pick us up. We're basketball, right? We're basketball. It's like, are you basketball?
Maybe.
It's kind of been a while since you've been basketball.
And Kyle McCord ain't enough to keep you up on the football ladder.
No.
So, this is the whole idea of like, you want to avoid these conflicts? Go to a super conference where they know what the rate to play is. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's when every time I come back to this, I just keep coming back to that example because you've got the way the ACC is hanging on by a thread. The Big 12 is doing well. Mm-hmm. The American is doing well, but the SEC and the Big 10, like they're it. And the more, like, I don't want there to be a haves and have-nots, but you can have more haves than have-nots. Again, if there's 80, those are your haves. Mm-hmm. The have-nots are not 80 more.
I also think there's another caveat to the ACC tiebreaker situation that I kind of scream about all the time. You know how it's like a 7-9 team wins the NFC South, and you're like, no, we need to change the rules. You can't have a team with a losing record make the playoffs. Yeah, but if you knee-jerk reaction to those things all the time, you're going to be changing rules all the time. And then you're going to have unintended consequences, and things are going to get jumbled. And what happened last year in the ACC, I don't know the last time I've ever seen that happen. You know what I mean?
They're making plans for something that probably won't happen.
Exactly.
But they're putting it there as a, hey, look, we can cover the nuclear button. Like, no, we don't need to do that. We don't need the keys. We don't need to do that.
But I don't know if everyone had keys in the first place. See what I mean? Like in that situation. Now, the conference exploding, that's a different conversation.
But that's what I mean. But
I mean of this tiebreaker stuff, I don't think everyone had keys to begin with. So why are we
trying to solve a problem that doesn't really exist?
Exactly, because
they're scared crapless.
Because the once in the lifetime thing happened. Guess what? Miami got over it real quick. You know why? Because they're a touchdown away from winning a national championship.
But again, think about.
And if they have Darian Mensah on that team instead of Carson Beck, do they win a title, Danny?
They might win a title.
They might win a title.
There's a reason why there's 2 key cards for the nuclear codes. You want to have all of the checks and balances. You don't want to have the power lie. Again, we talk about power vacuums. You don't want to have the power lie in one spot.
But I think the ACC thought that they were losing power, and I don't think they were.
Here's the thing about power and leverage. You want to find out how much you do or you don't have? Be put in a position where you have to use it.
Yeah, do you want to know how good you are? See how coach plays you in the playoffs. Shaden.
That's power and leverage. Sure. Do you want to truly know? And what you do is you put checks and balances in place that you don't have to find out.
I know.
The only people who don't know exactly what their power is.
And I think we now know where the keys are. We might not have access to them, but we know where they are. And it wasn't needed.
You may have might have WikiLeaked yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, guess what? The Pac-12 has 8 football teams, 9 with Gonzaga for basketball, okay? Give me 3 years and I'll take Stanford and Cal when the ACC implodes, and they'll come happily back.
You hope.
You hope, but I think both of them either say, maybe football isn't our thing anymore, or we can compete in this conference.
Not only that.
And I don't have to fly across the country.
We don't have to travel.
Yeah, and I will take Cal and Stanford back happily. Happily.
Yeah, you would.
Even though they pissed me off in football my entire life.
And they'll probably whoop you.
When I got to watch Jared Goff beat us 49-45, I was like, this guy's number 1? You're killing me.
And he turned out pretty good.
So,
yeah.
Did I ever tell you the story when I saw Andrew Luck live?
Yes.
Okay. He threw the interception. We were like, this guy's a bum.
Yeah. How'd that work out?
We left at halftime. It was 45-0. 45-3, I believe.
Oh, yeah. 3 matters.
When we come back, which we scored off of that interception. When we come back, I sat down with Ned Grabavoy yesterday. We'll have that interview for you coming up next, but we'll toss it over to Swag with sports.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, the Portland Timbers return to Providence Park for the first time in over a month. They host FC Dallas, 7:30 kick. You'll hear it right here on the Fan. Pregame coverage at 6:30 immediately following primetime, who is live on location at the Kingston Bar and Grill at 3. Now, newly hired head coach Marty Cifuentes will not be on the sideline for the Timbers. They are still working through the work visa approval process. Portland Fire Guard Bridget Carlton going to compete in the three-point contest at this weekend's WNBA All-Star festivities in Chicago. First up, though, leading her Fire against the Dallas Wings tonight in Moda Center, 7 o'clock tip. Coverage on 910 ESPN Portland will begin at 6:45. Dallas 5.5-point favorites. Jacob Gonzalez for the Pirates, a 2-run home run in the 5th inning off Garrett Cole. And Pittsburgh leads the Pinstripes 2-0 now in the top of the 6th. Bottom third at Fenway, the Red Sox put up 4 in the first inning, leading the Orioles 4-1. A win ties the all-time franchise winning streak at 15 games. They will have a second game, part of a day-night doubleheader later. I'm Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Your home for
Web Gems coming up next, everybody's favorite. But yesterday I was able to sit down with General Manager Ned Grabavoy of the Portland Timbers, heard right here on Timbers Fan every Tuesday night from 7 to 8 p.m. A friendly reminder, Isaac and Suk will be at the Kingston tonight from 3 to 7. I will be down there, make a little appearance, say hi to those guys, and shake hands, kiss babies with y'all before kick tonight. Pre-game 6:30, kick at 7:30. This is the conversation I had with Ned yesterday. But we are very happy to be joined by Ned Grabavoy, the general manager of your Portland Timbers, as you have hired a coach. And Ned, thank you for joining us. How was the World Cup break? Real relaxing for you, right? Nothing going on?
Yeah. Thanks, Patrick, and thanks for having me on. It was just a nice little break. Didn't have a whole lot going on, and kick back and watch some games. But no, I mean, look, we set out. We wanted to be ambitious. We had a great process put in place to make a permanent hire, and I feel really, really good and pleased with how that process was carried out. And most importantly, is always the end result. It's always the end result. We needed to be a little bit patient here the last week or so, but we couldn't be more excited to have Marty Cifuentes, to be the next head coach to lead the Portland Timbers.
Yeah, Ned, and before we get into Marty in terms of style and your interactions with him, let's go through the process of what you were really looking for in a coach. We heard a lot of different things from you before the World Cup break and wanting an experienced manager and tactics. What went into the eventual decision to land on Marty?
Yeah, well, I think as we started, some of it is, now being here for just a little bit over 3 years and looking back at the previous process. First, it's reflection, and you've got to be overly critical of that process, and how do we expand and evolve that process, and what era, in time is the club in now as we look to evolve, and that process, setting that out from the beginning, as I've spoken before, taking a more data analytical approach to what we do even earlier on, in being aggressive to also find coaches that we think fit. That we've put together, wait to get names of interest was a huge thing in advance that we started to look at as well. And I think from there, Patrick, we really wanted to sort of cast the net a lot wider than we did previously. Not be overly comfortable and say that, a manager has had to coach in MLS before, or we have to have, that's only coached in MLS. And then in the end, really, we can go through and we can sort of, create different buckets of coaches. Compare and contrast different profiles. And by the way, along the way, continue to run them through some different data metric projects that we would put together. Really, for us, from the beginning to the finish, I felt like we had a number of really good qualified coaching candidates that we were speaking to, especially towards the end of the process as well. And I felt like Marty differentiated, he separated himself from the pack, in my opinion, through the process. Some of it's experience. I think when you look at his background, he's been ambitious to go into different leagues and cultures. He's shown the ability to adapt, and he's had those learning experiences, which I believe are vital, in a head coach. When you look at our group, we've got a very, very heavy dynamic of international, and we've got players coming in from all over the world. Communication and these things is highly, highly important to us. And Marty is someone, as I said, that really impressed in that process along the way. He would tell me the answers. He would tell me the answers before I answered the questions during the process, which shows the level of attention that he paid to our team, and to our club, and to the league, which for me was really, really, really impressive from an international candidate. So there's a number of things I would point to, but like I said, in the end, just extremely content, having him as the next manager.
He's Ned Grabavoy, the GM of your Portland Timbers. We're talking about the new hire of Marty Cifuentes as the new manager of the Portland Timbers. And let's get a little nerdy here, Ned. You're a former player. You know how this works. Talk to our listeners out there who aren't familiar with Marty from maybe a tactical, philosophical standpoint. What can we, without giving too many secrets away, because the enemy's always listening, what can we expect from him from maybe a tactical approach, a kind of formation approach? Are we looking at big changes, small changes? What can we kind of see in the early days?
Well, before I start on Marty specifically, what I would say is we were very open to a number of different things. There was one or two versions maybe that we were closed off to in terms of the on-field product, the style of play and those things. But it wasn't like we were just out and out after one thing. We believe that our current roster does provide flexibility to the next person coming in. It's from there, hopefully, a few tweaks to fully get that system in place. And so from the beginning, we never said, it has to be just this and it can't be something else, or it has to be a coach that's only going to play, this formation. I think the interesting thing with Marty, when you look at it, is first and foremost, we can all point back to his roots, and where he grew up, the places that he's been educated and what he's leaned on, and being from the south of Spain, and, Johan Cruyff being a huge person for him in terms of a role model and someone that he's followed. But it was really, really eye-opening to me in speaking to him that how much of an impact these different experiences he's had working for various clubs in different leagues, around the world, and really needing to be adaptable, understanding that the game has continued to evolve and change. And I think all modern head coaches really have to understand that the game continues, the physicality to the game, the importance, in terms of players' running capacity, and all these things are really important as well. But I would also say there was a very good understanding and alignment to our current roster, the way that he wants to play, some of the important players that we have, the system that I think most have probably seen us, operating out of as well. But Marty's someone that's going to want to dominate the game and control the game. If he can do that through, high tempo possession or defending, higher up the field, he'll choose to do that. But I think most importantly, and one of his strongest traits is he also needs the ability and time to come in, assess the team, assess the league, and ultimately has to adapt what will work here in Portland with the Portland Timbers and in MLS. And as I said, throughout the entire process, those conversations and that alignment only grew stronger, which for me, as I said, was a really, really big factor, in kind of separating him from the rest of the group and ultimately landing on him as our top option.
I know our listeners will want me to ask the question, so I'll ask the question. It's a little transfer window based, which you kind of got into a little bit. What is, because I'm with you a little. I'm with you in the sense that I think there's a lot of really, really great talent on this. I think we just have to find the right person to kind of unlock it. When you start to think about transfer window, and whether it's small pieces or large pieces, bringing in or sending out, when you hire a new manager in this situation, what's that kind of leash? How long until you really start to have those conversations, or are we always keeping them in the back of our mind?
Always in the back of my mind, right? And then, depending on how serious of a candidate and how far along we are, when do we really start to open those things up? And what I would say is we've opened those things up, and we've been having some of those conversations for the last 3 or 4 weeks. We can never be in a mode where it's stop at the club. There's still certain things that we need to make sure that we accomplish as we go through, the different transfer windows. And so Marty's aligned in that, of course. Now, as we look to make certain decisions as we move forward on the roster, Marty will play a big role with myself in those decisions as well. And then really, I think, Patrick, when you look at, where we're at right now, not just as a club, but within MLS, and we start to move closer and closer towards, this shifting of a calendar and moving to a summer calendar in MLS, I still believe the team is capable of achieving things this year and qualifying for the playoffs. I've been vocal in saying that. But we do have to also keep in mind that there is a longer term vision as well with a new coach coming in. And so a lot of it is, how do we achieve these things over the short term, but not lose sight of the longer term objectives, both the club, both Marty, style of play, system, players that are ultimately going to fit that. I look at the next 6 to 12 months as we go through the remainder of this year into that sort of weird, unique sprint season that we'll all get a better taste of, next season as well, to really give ourselves the runway, to make sure that Marty has the players and the tools that he needs to ultimately implement his vision on the field.
Last thing I'll ask about Marty, and then I got one more question and we'll get you out of here. I know that there's been some, there's always issues that go on when you're making hires, and we don't need to get into those specifics. But I'll just frankly ask, when can we? There's a game tomorrow against Dallas. There's a game on Saturday against Salt Lake. When can we expect to see Marty on the sidelines?
You know what, Patrick, my favorite questions from anybody, it's always around immigration and work visa status.
I bet you're an expert now, right?
That's what, that's where my knowledge is and my education is, and that's ultimately what I can really control. Look, we're going to have to go through that step. I would just say our club is skilled in this position, so that's me putting pressure on myself and others, but this process is going to take a little bit of time. And I think as we really started to near, the resume of MLS play, I'm constantly looking at blocks in the schedule. And I saw these 4 games with a Seattle on the front and a Seattle on the back. And we know how important those games are here in Portland. And also, an interim coach and Jack Cassidy and a group and a staff here and players that have stayed truly committed, that they probably were going to be seeing out that block. And then as we jumped into Leagues Cup play, hopefully at that point, we're onboarding a new head coach, and he's got a little bit of time to get with the group. And then we're all of a sudden jumping back into, MLS play with, I think, 16 games remaining. So it's, pretty much 50% of the season. And we just try to continue to build momentum from there.
And that transitions to the last thing I want to ask you about is Jack Cassidy. Going into Seattle after the break, look, I know Seattle had some roster situations. Everybody's in a weird spot after the World Cup. But to go in there and dominate the way Portland did, to play in such a free, not just free play, but it felt like a free attitude, free mindset from the squad as well. Hey, let's just go out. Let's kick the ball around. Let's play with each other. And remember, we love this game. Talk to me about the influence Jack has had, whether it's over the break or in the game himself, because I was massively impressed, not just because it's 5-1 against the Sounders, but again, the attitudes felt really open and free, which is kind of during a weird situation.
Yeah. And I think, look, there's always, and it's one individual game, right? But there's always a combination of a lot of different factors that can, potentially lead to a result, or could lead to maybe a lopsided result, or to one of what I thought was maybe one of the best performances of the year. And so I probably have a tendency at times to downplay things or be a bit conservative, but in that approach. But, if that's on the flip for us, I don't usually hear people speaking about maybe the challenges we have with injuries and everything else. And so I am going to take a moment, to pay some credit to the people here that have put in a ton of work. I've continued to be really, really committed, and continued to communicate with one another, understand the plan that we have in place. There's a reason why Jack was appointed in that position, because we truly believed it was the best, in the best health, of the short term of the club. And making sure that structure and alignment exists is really, really important. Having said that, I got to tell you, in that performance, I've got to give all the credit to the players and the staff. And the staff can put together the plan, and they can run them through this, 4 or 5 week training period that we had. You need players to step up and to execute. And I think for me, yes, a 5-1 win the way that it was is nice to try and relax a little bit the last 10 minutes of a game, which doesn't always happen in this league. For me, it was the response. It was a big moment to show, what? There still is a lot of positive here. There's still a lot of really, really good pieces here. And there's still a lot of players and staff that care about this club. For me, that was the most important thing to see through that performance. And we got it in a big, big way, and probably the biggest moment in the season.
I couldn't agree more, especially because those guys know what that game means, and to see them take that responsibility. There's stats that can tell you this was the best player of the game. I think I got 4 or 5 players who are the best player of the game. I'm sure you have 11 to 18 who are the best players of that game. It's a good problem to have. He's Ned Grabavoy, the GM of the Portland Timbers. Thank you so much for sitting down with us, Ned. Double game week, so you're going to get me twice this week, buddy. Sorry, but you'll have to deal with it.
Yeah, I love it. I love the double game week, man. There's nothing better than that. And both at Providence Park. So, like I said, hopefully we build on that performance last week. I'm excited to see the team back at home. It's been a long time, and get those fans supporting again and feeling positive.
That was Ned Grabavoy yesterday on Timbers Fan. You can catch that every Tuesday from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on your home of the Timbers. When we come back, everybody's favorite Web Gems, 105.1 The Fan.
One and 1080, The Fan.
All right, Web Gems, everybody's favorite. Do it every single day at 11:45. Coming up in the Big Nooner, we will circle back on the Blazers media situation as another domino has fallen in the story. We might swing over into the county changing their tune as well. So the gift that keeps on giving and Patrick's nightmare continues to reign on. Quick personal note here, Brian from Miller's, if you are listening, yes, I am that radio guy. And yes, 2 o'clock does work perfectly. I cannot call you, for I am, well, doing this.
Yeah.
So, Brian, I will see you at 2 o'clock. Also, thanks for listening, buddy.
It's
done and done.
It's funny. The amount of people who call us when we're on air, I literally just had to reject a phone call. It's like,
Well, to be fair, this guy doesn't know.
oh, I know, but we were talking about this
Yes.
earlier off air. It's like, guys, we don't have long hours.
No.
But on those hours, we can't take phone calls.
I'm fairly unavailable.
The one requirement is that we are here and not taking phone calls.
But the good news, Brian, I'll see you at 2 o'clock.
There you go.
The bad news is, it's kind of picking up the pieces a little bit from yesterday, the ESPN layoffs. Speaking of layoffs, I mean, like go get mad at ESPN too. Like, they're laying people off. The big one for me is the Carl Ravitch thing. That hurts a lot. Ravi's been on that program for a long time. He's one of the last real baseball guys on that program.
I got ball sacked. There was a fake John Rothstein out there that said Jay Billis was let go too.
Oh, no
and I was like, what?
No way. No.
What do you mean?
Jay Will gets let go before Jay Billis.
And everybody keeps pointing to, well, they're paying Stephen A. and McAfee this. No, they're paying them that because, well, at least McAfee generates them that revenue.
Yes.
The actual reason is they have the NFL rights and no competitors.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, we don't need this many people. We can run this tighter. And again, I'll say this. I'm not making an excuse for ESPN. The same reason I won't make an excuse for Tom Dundon. It doesn't make the product better. But guess what the difference is? Guess what ESPN is a part of? Disney Company. Guess what Disney is? Publicly traded.
Yeah. My biggest concern from a baseball fan is that who at ESPN is going to do games now?
Joe Buck will do more games.
Oh, he's going to hate that.
Mm-hmm.
Joe took the Monday
night. He was
night.
hilarious. Did you see him the other
Joe
night?
took the Monday Night Football game because he didn't want to do baseball anymore.
Did you see him on Twitter the other night?
Uh-uh.
A fan was like, Joe Buck, call it both ways. Call it fair. And he quote tweeted with like, what do you think? What game do you think I'm calling right now? He's like, I'm at home having dinner
He'll get to
with
pick
my
and
family.
choose, but they'll have him do more. I mean, they'll probably pluck more from, like they do. Shambi will do games for them when they're in the Midwest.
That's true.
They'll do that.
Maybe
bit.
Dan Schulman will come in when Toronto's got an off
something
day or
like
something.
that. Yeah.
'Cause
Dave
Schulman still
O'Brien,
do
they
stuff.
get to do games. He's up with the Red Sox.
By the way, have you caught? I've been catching his calls at the end of like when Durbin hit that home run in the 8th the other
The
day.
Durbinator?
Oh, OB has been money to listen to on this Red Sox streak right now. They're in their booth, so there's like
They're up 6-2 in the 5th.
there's like a camera in the corner, a stationary camera in the corner, and they're just watching them call the game, and a home run hits, and I don't know who the color commentator guy is, but he just throws up his hand, stands up, and just walks away, and OB is like trying to look at his notes, but he's just leaning back, doesn't know what to say, and he's just like, this is the most awesome job in the entire world. I love OB.
It's fun. I mean, look,
He's so good.
Apple TV, MLB TV, please come grab Carl Ravitch.
Oh, we talked about this off the air yesterday. It'll be real quick, and we'll get out of here. Apple TV has a fantastic product.
Mm-hmm.
The broadcasters could use a little work.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Carl Ravitch put you up there real quick.
And if I get Carl Ravitch and I have to deal with Eduardo Perez, that would make me happy as well.
Also, Little League World Series is not going to be the same without him.
No, that's the other thing. Maybe they can contract him out for Little League World Series. I don't know. I don't know.
It sucks, dude.
Coming up in the Big Nooner, we'll get into the future of consuming Blazers as another domino has fallen. A lot more to get to. 2 down, 1 to go. Thank you, Swag. He'll turn it over to Casey. Big Nooner's next. 105.1 The Fan.
From the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, your Portland Timbers are back in action tonight, hosting FC Dallas inside Providence Park. Interim head coach Jack Cassidy will take over the coaching duties once again as newly hired head coach Marty Cifuentes awaits the Wiesel approval process. As we get set for a 7:30 kickoff, but make sure to catch all of tonight's coverage right here on 105.1 FM and 1080 AM when pregame coverage kicks off at 6:30. Over to the WNBA as your Portland Fire guard Bridget Carlton will make franchise history this week as the team's first participant in a WNBA All-Star event. Carlton will compete in the three-point contest during WNBA All-Star Weekend this Friday. But before she does that, your Portland Fire hosts the Dallas Wings tonight at 7 p.m. inside the Moda Center. Dallas Wings star Paige Beckers is listed as questionable coming into the contest, but make sure to catch all of tonight's coverage over on 9:10 a.m. when pregame starts at 6:45. And finally, some NFL news for you per Ian Rappaport as the Seattle Seahawks have placed running back Zach Charbonnet on the PUP list to start training camp as he continues to recover from a torn ACL. I'm lowercase from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of prime time.
To the big nooner. It's the firm of Harris and Marang. Patrick Harris with you. That's Danny Marang. We do this bad boy every single Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Thank you for being a part of our day. We are stoked to be a part of your day. It's a busy day here at the Fan. We're happy to have you all with us. After us, we'll turn it over to the bonus hour. Luke Anderson in the Fan Happy Hour from 1 to 3. And then it's prime time from 3 to 6:30 live from the Kingston, just up the road across the street from Providence Park. At 6:30, they'll toss it over to Adam Sussman for pregame for Timbers against FC Dallas tonight. Kick for that game is at 7:30. I'm going to try to make it down and see Isaac and Suk for a little bit, hang out at the Kingston before I got to go do my duties up there. And kick is at 7:30, ends around, 9:30-ish. And then Adam Sussman and the guys, Fletcher Johnson and Aaron Heinsohn, will have the postgame for you as well. Should be an exciting day. Probably going to be 88 degrees at kick. But I'm burying the lead here, Danny. I've got breaking news. That's Casey Smith over there on the ones and twos, ladies and gentlemen.
Here for 1 hour, but he's here for like 13.
Look, I love working with Swag. Swag taught me how to produce. He's taught me a lot of stuff. Been very good to me here over the years.
He did a terrible job.
You're blaming my downfall on Swigard.
What are you doing, Swag?
I love Swag. I always find it a great treat when he sits in and we get him in the producer chair. But, Case is my guy, dude. I got to ride or die with that black and yellow.
It was
black
funny.
And yellow.
I'm back. I walked out during the interview to run the restroom real quick, and he's like, "Hey, what's up, dude?" I was like, "Oh,
oh yeah, you're still here.
You're still here."
No, thank you, Swag, for filling in for us. It's a long day here at the Fan. Again, we decided, I think, in the first hour that it's Stevie Fire's fault that Swag and Casey have to put in long shifts today.
I can go with that.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly fine.
I will never blame Brandon Hinson for anything.
No.
That is a
he's
gem of a human being.
He's too handsome.
Look, too good looking, too nice.
Too sweet.
He laughs at every single one of my jokes. Even sometimes I look at him like, that's not funny.
He also laughs at other people's downfalls.
He does.
It's funny.
Dude, there's a little bit of secret, evil Brandon over there.
I enjoy it.
Well,
somebody will come out just complaining about everything, and you'll just hear him like,
well, he's able to say, look, I didn't say it.
Yeah.
That wasn't me.
He just snickers along with it. I love it.
I didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, are you ready? You ready for me to pee in your Cheerios here real quick?
Go for it.
I want to make sure that I get this correct. So
I would only read Quick's tweet.
I don't have that. I was going to ask you to do it because there might be some information we are a little privy to that I am not ready to share on the air.
Again, anytime there are layoffs, dismissals, contracts not picked up, especially with people that I know, I am full disclosure. I'm not going to go into details.
Yeah, we are very protective of our media brethren, especially this one specifically.
Jason Quick, Trailblazers radio play-by-play announcer Travis Demers is no longer a team employee after his contract expired June 30th. A source says a return in a lesser role has not been ruled out. Demers has been the radio play-by-play for the last 7 seasons.
Now, let's unpack this a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Travis Demers was not fired.
His contract
was not renewed.
Yes.
There is nothing in this article about Rip City Radio.
Nope.
You know, I know they're a competitor over there, but you know, we work in this market together.
Sure.
We know those people. There is no word of that being shut down. There are no details about whether or not Demers will or will not be a part of the Blazers in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to make sure we have all the information correct. I am optimistic that somehow Travis will still be in our ears or eyes in the future for Portland Trailblazers. But this was the other thing, you know, kind of part of we spent a little bit in the first hour talking about, you know, the trio that was let go this morning. Some of this stuff was predictable. Doesn't make it right, but
Sure.
predictable. Hey, Casey, what is that thing you win if you win a championship in the NHL?
The Stanley's Cup.
Unbelievable.
Get him!
Easy ride, easy ride.
Sorry, you don't know what that's about.
What did I miss?
But we saw him do this in Carolina. And
I said I was going to pistol whip the next person that said Stanley Cup.
and so we knew
I say it the way Ron Artest says it in the
Stanley,
song.
Lord Stanley's Cup.
Now, as much as you have pushed back, and I think you rightfully so, that NHL and NBA are different, this was a similarity that I could have seen come a mile away.
We knew it was coming.
Right. I think it stinks because similarly how we've talked about...
I mean, he pushed simulcast to radio.
Right. Similarly to how we talked about Mike Barrett and Mike Rice, or, you know, Sean's was fired at some point. We all loved Brian Wheeler, you know, may he rest. And I think we feel that same way about Travis.
Yeah.
I think
Travis is a friend.
I think there's more so that people feel the same way about Brooke. Now, I'm not saying anything about the Queen of Rose City. There is no news on that.
Again, Brooke is a friend. Casey is a friend. Like I have had friends get let go by this guy. And to be honest, if you does that taint my view of him? Yes. It poisons the well.
Well, it becomes personal for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
It does.
And I think,
but I also think that what he does sucks.
Yeah, and that's what makes this...
Both can be true. Here's where I'll go with this. What do we want as Blazers fans?
Title.
Is that all that matters?
No.
No. Do you want a first-class organization?
Yeah, I think everybody does.
Does anything he has done, find me the thing. This is not me saying, like, Tom Dundon bad. Find me the thing that says first-class organization.
I'd rather have a towel than a shirt.
What about that says first class?
That's all I got, buddy. That's all I got. John Morant.
What about that says first class?
You're not wrong there. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
That is the ground that I'm standing on, and I will keep going back to this. What does the evidence point me to?
It should send you down the wrong spot. And I think that's what makes these things difficult, too, is because we do have a lot of, to that texter earlier, the small townish vibe. This town likes that.
Yes.
This town really likes that.
I don't like it.
I don't need it.
I
don't mind it.
It's not my thing.
I'm not anti it, but I don't need it. I'm cool with it, but I don't need it.
And the other part of this is, what benefit do you get as a fan by him saving money? I will keep coming back to this. Every owner in sports, not just Tom Dundon. Why do you care? Other than that you are trying to manufacture something in your head that it's good for you. How? Give me something. The first person that gives me something tangible, I will go, oh, I didn't consider that.
Well, I think the unfortunate side in that argument, say I'm the one that does come to you with something. The unfortunate is unknown. Is the answer can be like, well, we don't know that answer yet. And I think it's okay that we don't know that answer
But here's the thing,
because
we've seen this with other owners.
Just let me follow real quick. That all of this is bad. But in 4 years, if I have a district around the Rose Garden, if I have a better fan experience at the games, and I've won a title, That's your answer.
Okay.
The problem is now I can't give that to you. That's a mystery box.
But not even that.
That is the mystery box of mystery
How
boxes.
do you draw that line that this led to this?
I don't know that.
Other than you just made it up.
I don't know that.
I had somebody text me and said that they had talked to an owner and said the other owners are very interested in Tom Dundon right now because they're looking at things and going, oh, we can just be a jerk and just tell everybody F you and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're letting, I have said this because I have talked to other executives and other governors. They are watching this.
And
This is not like my feelings. This is from the top. They are watching it because he is blazing a path through hell that no other owner is going, I don't want to do that. I don't want to deal with the PR hits. I don't want to deal with a pissed off fan base. I don't want to deal with this. But if he's going to do it, I'll ride his coattails.
Yeah, I'd like to do some more research on this, and I think that's our discussion tomorrow, is what the rest of the league is looking at. There's an interesting quote from Zach Lowe.
Zach's been very, very, very forward on all of this.
Some colorful language. But again, I think that's what makes this tough. Look, I'm seeing this on the text line. I'm seeing it on the YouTube chat as well. Look, I don't know Michael, Tom, or Jamie. I don't know them personally. I respect them, respect the hell out of them.
I've known Jamie and Michael for a long time.
Yeah, Jamie went to GU. I'm cool with that. Go Dogs. Go Bulldogs.
I've known Travis for a very long time.
Yeah. I don't know any of these people personally, but I do give an S about them. They do what I do. Like that, what happens to them can happen to me. We live in the circle of life. It is a symbiotic cycle together. However, what I see in the text line, in the chat, is that this, in the long run, might not be the biggest deal if the team does win. And I think that's the tough pill to swallow, whether you want to or not, is that it is personal for some. It is that small town inclusive vibe where you feel like Brooke lives next door.
Not only that.
You feel like you can see Travis at the grocery store. You feel like you can sit down at a bar and there's Lamar Hurd. You know, there is some of that as well. But if the team starts winning, people will forget, unfortunately.
I don't think they will, though. I don't. And people will say, well, yeah, I will. Yeah, I will. You won't. Because part of the ethos of sports is not just, I would argue the majority of sports is not just about winning. It's going to games with mom and dad.
Yeah.
It's having that relationship and having it feel like that broadcaster is your friend. You know, when we had Swag in here, because I knew he was in the building back then. When Mike and Mike were rolling, the team was not that great. There was a connection.
It's a little bit...
Severing that connection. Don't be wrong. I want this team to win a title, desperately. I don't want it to be at the cost of what sports is about.
Without a doubt. You know, we had Wright Gazaway in yesterday, and I think he would understand what I say in this. It's like when you watch the local news at night, you know, which is a weird thing these days. I think, you know, I mentioned that to somebody here, and they were like, why are you watching the local news? It might have been you on the air that I was like, I was watching the local news, and you were like, why? And I was like, well, if I turn on the local news, and my guy is on there, I'm a Pete Ferriman guy. I know he listens to our station a lot. Shout out, Pete, if you're listening right now. Probably not. You're working. It's noon. But he one time texted in while I was doing a show. And he was like, oh, dude, thanks for a shout out, man. I love you guys. And I was like, oh, my God. Pete's my best friend. That guy's now my best friend. And I watch his broadcast specifically because I love him.
Wright's a P1.
Yeah.
Wright texts me during the show very regularly.
And Wright does a great job. And what he's doing for this makes me feel more connected to him as well. And I think
because he gives a damn.
Yeah.
Wright, I'm sorry to dox you here, Wright. Wright lives in Portland.
Yeah.
He's a part of this.
Well, I didn't think Wright lived in, like, you know, boring Oregon.
Well, I mean, he could be a Vancouver guy.
He
He could be a Wilsonville guy. He could be a Lake Oswego guy. But he's in your backyard.
Burns, Oregon.
He gives a damn. It impacts him. Like, you want people who are invested. Like, that's the problem, is that the only investment from Tom Dundon is financial. That's it.
Yeah, but if this team wins, it's going to change.
I don't buy that.
Well, you don't buy that the team's going to win.
I don't buy either.
Oh, man, if this team wins, you're out of your mind, dude. If this team goes to an NBA Finals, nobody cares about this stuff.
I disagree in this market.
I think it'll be in the hindsight, because whoever else comes in, they'll get to know and love. Look, man, I spent a year in this chair. You know who used to sit in this chair before me? Dusty Hara. You know how many times I've read on the text line? I've gotten DMs on Instagram. I've gotten text messages from people that find me that are like, "Look, Harris, loved your baseball show, but where the hell's Dusty?" You know, I've filled in on primetime before. Had a good show with Jason Sukanik. Someone texts in, hey, Patrick, love you to death, but don't bleep with my bleep in primetime again. Like, and after a while, sitting in this chair, people were like, hey, man, I've really kind of enjoyed, because the next cycle will get somebody into another comfort level. Does it suck? Of course it does.
Here's the other side of it.
But people will get comfortable with whoever's new.
Here's the other side of it. I have been a win guy. They don't put enough pressure on ownership. They don't put enough pressure on the front office. They don't like that. That has been my ethos. And my biggest pushback is that the staggering majority of Blazers fans don't care about just the winning. They care about the small market stuff. They
Which is a
care
very
about
Portland thing. Which is a very Portland thing.
That is why I don't believe winning will just cure all. Winning will cure all for a subsect. It will cure all for a subsect of the
If anything,
fan base.
it might just make you hungrier. And if you don't win again, then you go back to being sad. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Not just that,
like
but
a temporary Band-Aid?
But it's the ethos of it all is not just winning. It's not. Knicks fans gave a damn long before they won. Even in the bastion of crap.
Yeah, but I think the Knicks come with a lot more baggage in terms of the history of basketball and the history of New York basketball.
But
I think that's got a lot more to it.
We're also talking about the major market in the country.
You know.
This is not that. And that's I've had this economist in my mentions on Twitter who wants to say, well, the Sonics leaving Seattle didn't kill Seattle. It's like, well, yeah, they have a Major League Baseball team. They have an NFL franchise. They also are a headquarters for numerous Fortune 20 companies. Portland does not have that. They have one top four sports team. In all my research, if somebody else can find it for me, please do. Mm-hmm. The only city I can find in the last 40 years that had one top four sports team and left is Hartford, Connecticut, and the Hartford Whalers. That's the only one that I can find.
Where'd they move to?
Interesting.
Who owns that team?
Weird. But this economist has said over the last 50 years, public funds, it's been bad. You know what? All the research that I have found about Hartford is that the team being there was a net positive, and the net negative of them was it was a net negative of them leaving, not only on the economic side but on the civic side. Mm-hmm. That everybody wants to say money, and I get it. I've said this from the jump. I don't want to just hand $600 million to Tom Dundon. I think it's a bad precedent. But your options are you do it or you don't. And if you don't, what does that look like? And it's more than an economic impact. It is a civic impact. You were a city, it was a top 25 market who doesn't have a sports franchise. You are the only one in the top 40.
To use an example, if the Blazers were to leave Portland, which is not the conversation we're having, but if the Blazers were to leave Portland, only Portland and Austin would be the only teams with MLS teams and no other Major Four.
Have fun.
That's a wild thought.
And what does Austin have that Portland doesn't?
Tejas?
Well, booming economically.
Yeah, Austin's great.
So, again, Portland can't hang their hat on any of those other hooks.
503-864-6326 is the fan text line. Let me hear what you think. Let me hear what you got over on the YouTubes as well. We'll take a quick break. We'll pick this back up and read some of your thoughts more on media and how you will consume the Blazers in the future. That's Danny. I'm Patrick. 105.1 The Fan. sitting here talking about the most recent situation as Dad is after it again. What?
Hit the breaker.
Oh, whoa. Whoa, hey, what are you doing here? I don't know what's going on.
Joe Freeman actually has it on Twitter. It's official. Kevin Calabro tells me he's decided to step away from Blazers broadcasting and will no longer call games for Portland.
There you go.
The team and its veteran play-by-play man had been in discussions on a new contract, but they called the offers subprime.
Well,
and he's decided to move on.
Well, KC was going to be expensive. KC was one of the more higher-paid guys in the league in general. Deserved. Not pulling away from KC. Kevin Calabro.
When Dundon bought the team, I did not expect KC to be better.
No, I didn't either. But also to Swags and I point earlier, though, once the Sonics open, they're gonna go after KC. That's that's as good of a story as LeBron in Cleveland for his last year. That gets you. You want to talk about small towny? You want to talk about in your fields? Seattle Supersonics night 1 in Seattle against the Portland Trail Blazers.
It's also 3 years from now.
And Kevin Calabro on the call. I know.
At minimum.
I know. But still, you follow, though. KC was never going to be long for here. He cost too much. I mean, I think that's more, unfortunately, I think Calabro's amazing. Kevin Calabro not calling Blazer games next year was more obvious to me than any of these others.
Well, you've gone from Mike Barrett to Kevin Calabro to...
Maybe Travis Demers.
I'm not optimistic.
I understand that, and I think you're fair to be that. But maybe. He's the... For fans, he's the leader in the clubhouse.
I'm not optimistic.
But I don't...
And that's not... Look, I hope that is the case.
This is kind of an extension of the conversation as this morning, this is a Forbes article that came out, and it was publicized that TV analyst Michael Holton, who you see on pre-games and post-games, very jovial, happy man, very, very good at his job. The crack statistician Tom Habistro, who you see kind of cut in games and pregame and drops the street knowledge on you.
And stays up till 2 a.m. because he does it from freaking Carolina.
He's a crazy, crazy man. And then the ESPN GOAT and Blazers TV host Neil Everett, who is a little part-time, but it was always fun to see Neil Everett come in. And then Jamie Hudson, who does other stuff in news, but also does some work with the Blazers.
Shout out, Hud Dog.
Those 4 were let go. They are no longer a part of the Blazers broadcast team. It was also a Jason Quick article or tweet confirming that Travis Demers is no longer a part of the Blazers organization. We don't know if that means no Blazers radio yet, so let's not grab our pitchforks quite yet. But we are rooting for Travis Demers. And now KC.
Can someone tell me when all the winning starts?
I mean, you hope on the court. At this point, that might be the only winning you're looking at.
They heading down that path right now with 5 guards and 6 centers?
No.
Okay.
No. Wow, this text aged well. I hope Lamar, Hurd, and Kevin Calabro are on the team for the new broadcasting method. No.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Where was I going to find this? Guys, we know winning will fix it. We will hate it, but if we win a Western Conference Finals in the next 2 to 3 years, all of this will be swept into the category of, well, we said he's going to do this crap. We better win now, and we are winning. So
I have done this for 15 years, and I have been down this path with Blazers fans. And the number of Blazers fans that I have talked to in that decade and a half, the staggering, and it has been my problem with a lot of you, is the staggering majority of you don't actually care about the winning.
Yeah, this other text is, Patrick, people complain about Mike Rice and Mike Barrett getting fired, and that was over a decade ago. We don't let go of this stuff because we have nothing else. And that's part of it. That's why the Blazers are so successful in this town.
It's more than just basketball.
Exactly.
It's more than just winning.
I don't disagree with you on
and
that.
I don't like that to an extent, because in markets like New York, in markets like LA, markets like Philadelphia, you can talk about what they won and what they haven't, all those kind of things. But these rabid sports markets, what do they constantly do? They chase titles. Mm-hmm. But they also aren't cutting those corners. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
totally.
You can do both.
You were asking me what's a win.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking about, easier fan experience, easier way to get in and out of the building, winning games.
What do you think
and
matters
around.
more to Blazers fans when you talk about that fan experience?
Well,
getting in and out of the building or having people they give a damn about?
This is the text I was going to read. I would argue that those broadcasters play a huge part of my fan experience. As a fan, I'm turned off by these decisions. That's a fair point.
Is that a better is what you're looking at right now a better experience?
No.
How many broadcasters do you think in the NBA are better than Kevin Calabro? Maybe 5. When you're talking about if you survey NBA fans.
Well, NBA fans, I don't know. If you just ask me personally, who grew up the desire to be a one like a Kevin Calabro.
Sure.
Now I don't have that desire anymore, but I did a lot when I was younger. Like Al Michaels is my GOAT. I might say 0. And that includes Mike Breen, who I am obsessed with. I love Mike Breen.
And I think that's a fair argument to make. Like, he's going to be a Radio Hall of Famer.
Like, Iron Eagle might be one for me. It might go Iron Eagle, Kevin Calabro, Mike Breen in my world.
Yeah. And I think that's entirely fair.
Well, and all three of those are just, they're awesome.
Not even radio broadcast, just broadcast Hall of Fame. He's up there.
Yeah. I'm a big Boog Shambi guy.
Yeah.
There's a place for Joe Buck. Not my favorite, but there's a place for him.
And again, this softened the blow of them getting rid of Mike and Mike for some people. Was like, you got rid of Mike, but you brought in Kevin Calabro.
Yeah, no offense to Barrett. Like, Calabro's GOAT territory.
And again, for me, Mike is one of my favorite broadcasters ever. A big part of that probably has to do with, I grew up watching him. Mm-hmm. And again, the bias is definitely baked in. He's a close friend. But you could at least, to a general Blazers fan, be like, yes, we got rid of your guy. Yes, it sucks. We brought in Kevin Calabro. Where do you go from here if, and as KC put it in the line here, he was offered a subprime deal.
I mean, he costs a lot of money.
He did, but also, do you think that KC chose that language for any particular reason, or it was just willy-nilly?
No, I mean, KC's a smart guy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even be shocked if his agent wrote that.
Well, here's the thing about this, and this is, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say it, but I'll tell you this. Of the people that are still there at One Center Court, a lot of them aren't happy. And I'm not just talking about these layoffs and firings, but people are not happy there right now. Well, and they don't, I don't want to speak for really anyone. There are a lot of folks that don't want to be there and are looking to get out.
Well, let's take a break real quick. Let's look at that concept of what does it look like? What can we expect? What's best case scenario? I don't want to try to half glass full this, but what is best case scenario after the things we've heard today? We'll get to that next. We'll toss it over to Casey over there with sports.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
This sports update is brought to you by Mountaintop Metal Roofing. No maintenance, energy efficient, fire resistant, and a lifetime warranty. Do it once, do it right. Visit mountaintopmetalroofing.com. First on the Fan, your Portland Timbers are back in action tonight, hosting FC Dallas inside Providence Park. Interim head coach Jack Cassidy will take over the coaching duties once again tonight as newly hired head coach Marty Cifuentes awaits the visa approval process. Kickoff is set for 7:30, but make sure to catch all of tonight's coverage right here on 105.1 FM and 1080 AM when pregame coverage kicks off at 6:30. Over to the WNBA as Portland Fire guard Bridget Carrollton will make franchise history this week as the team's first participant in a WNBA All-Star event. Carrollton will compete in the three-point contest during WNBA All-Star Weekend starting this Friday. But before she does that, your Portland Fire hosts the Dallas Wings tonight at 7 p.m. inside the Moda Center. Dallas Wings star Paige Beckers is listed as questionable coming into the contest, but make sure to catch all of tonight's coverage over on 9:10 a.m. when pregame starts at 6:45. And finally, some NFL news for you per Ian Rappaport as the Seattle Seahawks have placed running back Zach Charbonnet on the physically unable to perform list at the start of training camp as he continues to recover from a torn ACL. I'm lowercase from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Don't call your mom, call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Sports Saturday with Joe Fisher. and 1080 AM.
503-864-6326 is the fan text line. Some things I want to read here. In regards to Kevin Calabro, Kevin has said his dream would be to return to Seattle when they get a team again. I'm a firm believer in that as well. What Tom has
It's
done,
a cool story for Casey.
oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. But to your point, if that team doesn't come around for 2 or 3 more years, it would have been nice to have Casey here. I don't disagree with that. I am not shocked that Dad doesn't want to pay what a KC costs. This other texter, what Tom has done is make it a must that he win. Because if he does all this and doesn't win, then you lose the fan base. But win, and you get away with it. That's kind of where
That's closer. That's closer.
Away with it is a better line.
Yes.
It's not that fans will get over it.
No.
It's that you'll get away with it.
That clarification, that I can at least
We meet in the middle there.
You'll get your drool, but you'll be happy. You know what I mean? Or I said gruel, but you won't like it, but it's fine. It has the nutritional value. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like it's fine. I think that'll be a sizable crowd.
Well, and unfortunately, Danny, that's kind of the world we live in a little bit these days. Which does suck, but sometimes it's kind of like tough luck, amigo.
Yeah, it's a lot of...
Makes being a parent a pain in my head. Mm-hmm. Because I want to give my kids everything, but I got to teach them that, dude, life ain't cool right now.
This guy sucks.
Gestures around the room.
Yeah, this guy sucks, but whatever.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate reality of modern day society, and that's not to excuse Dad by any means, and it's not to apologize for him either. We were talking in the break a little bit. This is why 10 toes down is a little difficult for me, because I am not a 10 toes down guy. I'm a new information, creates new opinions, and that could be minute to minute, hour to hour, day by day, year to year, decade to decade.
I've had people say that I'm a contrarian before, and I don't think I'm... You've worked with me for over a year now. Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard me say anything seriously that you think that I don't believe? Do you think I've ever said something just to say something?
There's only one thing. I do not truly believe that you would rather not make the playoff than get blown out. That's the one thing I don't believe.
I do believe that.
I don't believe that.
That's fine.
Outside of that, no, Danny, you are a man of convictions.
I don't just say things just to
no vacillating with Danny Marang.
But do you think I just say things just to take the other side?
I think it can come across that way, if we're being honest here.
But do you think that I do?
I don't, no. No. In the time I've worked with you, no. I mean, it pisses me off sometimes, but no, I don't think so.
But I say this not to clarify my point. I say this because I say things that I believe because I believe them. But I also, as much as I have convictions and a lot of strong ones, I operate in a lot of nuance. A lot of nuance. I don't like Tom Dundon. I don't like the way he operates. But I'm also sitting here saying, get the freaking deal done, Portland City Council and Multnomah County. Both can be true.
Yeah.
I don't think the way he's going about damn near anything makes any sense.
I agree with you on that. However, I don't live in the same world as you because I'm a little bit on an island on this, but I know some of us here at the Fan kind of agree with me. I'm still in a little bit of a wait and see. I'm with you. It don't look good. There's a lot that don't look good.
As long as you're willing to say
it don't look good.
Then we can be okay. You know what I'm saying? What I'm getting tired of is all of the people like, well, this is just a part of business. This is a part of no, this is how you win. I'm like, well, literally no one does this.
Well, I'm not going to do that because I've never owned a $4.5 billion franchise or company, so I don't know how those operate.
20% or less.
I don't know how those operate. I only know how I am as a fan. And unfortunately, Michael, Tom, Jamie, KC,
and legally Travis,
maybe Demers. That sucks. It's not going to affect how I watch the Blazers. Unfortunately.
It will, though.
It'll be interesting to see what the product rolls out.
It directly impacts how you watch the Blazers.
But I told you earlier, you let me know when tip is, and that's when I'm going to watch. And that's me. That's just me. I'm only speaking for myself. You let me know when tip is, and I'm going to watch. So it doesn't affect me as much. However, I will ask that question here. What does the product look like? Because it's not just KC is not returning, and they will hire a new play-by-play guy. Okay, let's say Paul Allen still owns the team. Seattle's up and running in a year. KC wants to take a year off, knowing he's going to take the Seattle job. they go find a new person for the long term. Okay, that stuff happens frequently.
Jason Quick has a quote from Calabro. Easy decision, not worth my time, which is sad because it's a great roster and the people there are great. He said he received a low contract offer on Monday.
Yeah. It's basically what was reported initially. However, all these people are kind of the main stalwarts outside of Brooke, and don't touch Brooke, buddy. That's a bad move. That's a bad move. But outside of that, what is this going to look like? Are we still rolling out the same sort of product with just different faces, different names? Or are we talking serious? Are we talking the classic, coming up next on Fox, a 5-minute pregame show for a soccer game? Like, are we doing that?
I would.
Because that pisses me off on TV. Mm-hmm. A game ends, a big Champions League game ends, they put it on CBS, final whistle blows at 1:48, and at 2 o'clock it's a rerun of Supernatural. Yeah. And I'm like, why? Why can't I watch Kate Abdu, Thierry Henry, Micah Richards, and Jamie Carragher talk about this game? Oh, I got to switch to the app? Oh, give me a break.
Yeah. And again, without having everything nailed down, I think you're going to see a lot leaner. I think they're.
Yeah, I agree it'll be leaner, but like let's say the average content
that will impact the broadcast.
Let's say the average content before a game is an hour. Okay, just for round numbers. Let's say it's 60 minutes. Does that go down to 30? Does that go down to 45?
Certainly a possibility.
Does that go down to 0?
It becomes a cost-benefit analysis. How can you sell it? Is it profitable? What am I paying somebody? Am I paying somebody less than I was paying before? Like, look, man, I've heard people joke about it. Like, if he didn't have to travel broadcasters, the league, for those who don't know, the league actually fines teams if you don't do that. Like, I had somebody high up in another team jokingly, wink, wink, nod, nod, if the fine was less than traveling the broadcasters, Tom Dundon would do it. That's what somebody told me.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong on that.
So
again, look, I'm with you. The optics are terrible. The optics are god awful.
I also want to,
but I'm willing to wait and see.
I also want to back this off in the sense of I don't want to fearmonger. I don't think the team's going anywhere.
No,
not because Tom Dundon wouldn't want to, but because he can't for a litany of reasons. Number one, he does not have the money to do so. Number two, the markets that you're talking about, Raleigh, Austin, Nashville, the teams that own those markets, San Antonio, Raleigh will be Charlotte, Nashville will be Memphis, they have the right to veto a team moving into those. So that narrows it down to basically Kansas City, and I would imagine one of the Texas teams owns that right, so they could say, and Austin, the Spurs own that market, so they could just say no.
There was a great conversation on Primetime about that yesterday. They were talking about that exact same thing. So you want a little more on that, go check out what those guys talked about yesterday. I agree. I don't think this team is leaving. I think these two people need each other and will eventually find a way to be with each other. But, may not be the healthiest relationship, but I do believe that relationship will be part of it.
The line I keep coming back to, if the Blazers don't occupy that building, somebody has to. Otherwise, that is already a black hole in this city.
Agreed.
Outside of Moda, VMC on whatever event
Agreed.
Night.
I think a majority of the city would agree.
The money
Hell, I think the druggies down there would agree.
I mean, they either move in or they get pushed all the way out. Right. Those are their two options. But the money has to go in that building one way or the other.
Yeah.
If the Blazers are occupying it and you want to bring Taylor Swift in, you have to do something with it. So figure it out. I don't like the options, but I'm taking the least crappy option.
Binary Brewing and The Fan have teamed up for the only Fan IPA available for a limited time. Taste The Fan with Binary Brewing's signature West Coast IPA. Go to Binary Brewing's Beaverton location. Ask them about their only fan. So good. Only The Fan and Binary Brewing can pull it off. Closing Arguments is next. Sends you on your way. 105.1 The Fan. All right, that's going to do it for us. Closing arguments here to send you on your way. I'll tell you what, Danny. You know, keeping this casual and kind of more back to, you know, Patrick the human, Danny the human, and kind of take off our radio hats for a moment. Despite the god-awful heat that's going on outside, you know what, dude? I'm very excited.
God, you had to remind me we have to walk out of that.
I am very excited to go to the Timbers game tonight. You know why? Because for 90
You don't have to talk about Moda?
Yeah, you know, I'm being serious, too.
No.
Like, for 2 hours, 90 minutes, 2 hours plus halftime, you know, for 2 hours, I'm going to be in a building with good vibes because I think it's tough to go to any sporting event. And I'm sure, you know, I'll be up there and I'm going to see my good buddy Tyson Alger and the whole crew up there. And I'm sure we'll all have conversations. Maybe Bill will show up. He comes to the Timbers games from time to time. And we might talk about it. But to be in that stadium and feel the energy, you know, the last time I was at a Pickles game, this stuff wasn't as big as it is, but was starting to feel that way. Talking to Joe Simons and Jeremiah, you know, Joe and I talked a little bit, not a ton, mostly casual stuff, mostly just John about you. But it was kind of nice to just be at a Pickles game where everyone was just stoked to be at a Pickles game. And I think the MLS is back, and that's really exciting, and this doesn't need to be a Timbers segment. But I'm kind of excited to shut it off for a little bit.
Dude, people have texted in like, you guys keep dragging this up. And I'm like, it's because there's something new we are not rehashing anything. It is something new, something dumb every single time.
Well, dumb is an opinion.
I would much rather, and I said this during the tanking period, I don't want to talk about bad things. Give me something good to talk about.
You're peeing on me and tell me it's raining.
Yeah, it's like, bro, I don't want to do this.
We have been...
Like, genuinely, this is not me being performative. I don't want to go through it.
You and I have talked about this on the air or off the air, and I have mentioned this on the air. Dude, I'm tired. Like, I need a break from this.
You asked me, like, dude, do we have to talk about this? And I'm like, yes, we do, because it's something new.
And then I go...
Our pets' heads are falling off!
And then I send myself home, and I'm in the car driving home, and I'm like... How can I justify to take a day off? And then you send me something that goes, oh boy, here we go.
Literally happened yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah. I really thought we were going to skate around it today. I really did. Maybe get into county stuff, which we didn't even get to today. We'll get to county stuff tomorrow.
The whole grandstanding of that nonsense. Like, we didn't even get to that because more stuff came out today.
It is a pretty fascinating situation. I mean, we talked to Wright, and I believe he said this off air, and I don't think I'm speaking out of pocket when I say this. He was talking about how this is maybe the biggest story in Portland in a very, very long time.
The Billups thing was probably bigger in a singular story, but this is a longer
and Wright's treating it like
it's a
big deal for him.
It is. It's a longer tail story with mass. The thing about the size of the story is it impacts so many more people.
Right. And that's why it's a bigger deal.
Yes.
That's why it's a bigger deal than this Yahoo.
I do the best I can and let the chips fall where they may.
It is crazy, dude. Tom Dundon walked into this place, and I totally forget about Chauncey Billups. If I didn't have that drop, I'd forget about Chauncey every day.
You know what?
Every day.
YouTube, they need to put up a sign that says X amount of days since the last Blazers PR blunder. We found a use for the whiteboard.
Just sit at 0. Oh, okay. I'll write it right now.
There we go. 0 days without nonsense. It's just... That's the spot that we're at right now. I would much rather talk about the basketball what they can do. We'll figure it out. But it's just like, at what point? And I get people like, I don't want to hear about this. But the problem is it is news. It is something there. It is something new. The voice of your broadcast and Kevin Calabro is not returning, and he basically just said because they lowballed me and the owner is cheap. I've had people say, you just don't like Tom Dundon, so you call him cheap. How many people do you need to tell you within the organization or formally within the organization that the new owner is cheap before you believe that the owner is cheap? Do you remember the not traveling, the two-way things? Oh, that was Joe. Really? What was the fundamental change that happened between two ways traveling and not traveling? What happened a month before that?
Jason Quick article. That was the difference.
Yeah, it was Jason Quick that did it. Or it was the new owner that came in that was, wait for it, cheap. At what point in time does the evidence stack up high enough for that to actually sink in?
I'm also probably opening a can of worms here. How much piling on does the Blazers not being very good for the last 5 years affect it too?
I don't think it impacts it that much because it was intentional.
Yeah. Still, this city doesn't like it, whether it's intentional or not.
To be honest, if they had been good the last 5 years and he was doing this, it would be worse.
Yeah, you couldn't just hang your hat on the fact that
the old owner won? Like, legit, think about that. Like,
Yeah.
that makes it worse, in my opinion.
Closing arguments are brought to you by Oregon Divorce Mediation Services, presented by our friends at Leskin Law. Visit more information at leskinlaw.com. Oregon Divorce Mediation Services, the alternative to divorce court. We'll have more on the situation tomorrow. Hopefully there's no new news. For Danny Marang, that's Casey Smith. I'm Patrick Harris. Go do something I would do.
Bye.